Joining us now, former Reagan White House political director, Republican strategist, Great America PAC strategist, and Fox News contributor, Ed Rollins. I'm also joined by political communications strategist with Maslansky and Partners, Lee Carter, and Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for the New York Post and Fox News contributor, Michael Goodwin. Thank you all for being here. Quite a day it's been.
Thank you.
Ed, we go back to 1976 for anything approximating this. Your judgment on the decision that the Republican Party today made?
That was a very serious fight in 1976 in the sense that neither Ford or Reagan, when they went into the convention, had the sufficient delegates. And at the end of the day, they fought over a foreign policy platform, but Ford won by 117 votes. This is Trump's nomination. This is about the future. My sense is this is about changing the rules for the future, and the Cruz people who obviously are planning on running in 4 years. Obviously, if Trump's not elected, they'll be front and center, and I think that's what more this was about today.
Is this a Romney-led insurrection within the party? It's Mike Lee from Utah, Romney from Utah. This looks like a Utah-driven insurrection on the part in the Republican Party.
I would say it's more the Cruz people who are very fine operatives and actually ran good campaigns all the way through. Romney is irrelevant at this point in time, even though his home.
You agree, Lee?
I do. And I also just think it's short-sighted. I think even though they might have long-term plans in mind, it really is harmful to the party. It's harmful to the Republican Party. So any disunity that we have right now, any of this infighting really does not look good for the Republicans.
But at the same time, it's a big tent, getting bigger because of Donald Trump. The Democrats, when they have this sort of event, they talk about it's just, the Democratic Party being themselves.
Right.
The Republican Party seems to be finding out a little bit more about who they are. Is it so dire?
I don't think so, and I think that the real issue, say for tonight, Lou, will be setting up this contrast with the Republicans on public safety. I mean, with the Democrats on public safety, because one of the interesting things is that Democrats, as I understand their convention plans, they will have the parents and mothers, particularly of men who were shot and killed by police officers. In this environment, with Trump and Pence talking about they are the law and order candidates, we have a real contrast here as to which party is more pro-police and which party is anti-police. I think that will be the overriding theme of tonight.
And Hillary Clinton, speaking to the NAACP, saying that she's going to bring down the full force of law against law enforcement in this country. You couldn't draw a more stark contrast between two parties and two nominees than, as Michael has just said, on the issue of law and order.
Two Republican presidents got elected based on law and order. Richard Nixon in 1968, who advocated law and order, a very difficult time in the country. Ronald Reagan launched his career that same cycle, 66, 68, on law and order. So my sense is if Rudy Giuliani gives the right speech tonight, which I think he will, and Trump follows that force, and we're for the military men, we're for the men in blue, and women in blue, who stand and fight us, protect us, I think that's a good place to be.
And Donald Trump tonight introducing Melania, Lee, that's unheard of as well. There's a lot of Donald Trump seems to like to break precedent and forge a new ground ahead.
He does. I think, number one, it's a new way of doing things, and I like that he's doing it. It's a gentlemanly thing to do. It shows a different side of him. I think just seeing them together is something that's really nice to see and shows the softer side of Donald Trump, and I think that's really important for the American people to see. And I think that he likes surprising people. I think he likes to shake things up and do things like we haven't seen before. So I'm looking forward to a lot more surprises like that throughout the convention.
The tone of the convention itself, I mean, we heard a lot of discussion of tone on the part of the Republican National Committee and the Republican national leadership. The tone of things right now is full steam ahead. It is Donald Trump's convention, and Ted Cruz, your history, and to the delegates who insist on becoming never Trumpers, adios. We'll see you later. We got a White House to win.
Well, Lou, I think throughout this campaign there have been numerous occasions where events seem to line up perfectly with Donald Trump's skills and his positions.
It is remarkable.
And when you look at what's happened in the last week, from horrible attack in France, then the Turkey insurrection that failed, and then, of course, the police shootings in Dallas and Baton Rouge. I mean, you have events, all of which I believe play into the strength that the status quo is failing, and the change is desired by everybody.
And the failure within the status quo, which is obviously, I mean, President Obama is emblematic of it, whether one talks about domestic policy or whether one talks about foreign policy. But at the same time, the Republicans, whether they be Jeb Bush, whether it be George W. Bush, who is not going to be here as well, whether it is John Kasich, the governor of the state in which this great convention is being held, they are petulant and have, it seemingly, decided to accelerate their irrelevance.
Well, they'll be more irrelevant if they don't basically participate in the process here. This is Donald Trump's party for the next 3 or 4 months, and if he wins the presidency, it's for the future. I think at the end of the day here, people like John Kasich can be important to us to win the state. Certainly the Bushes had big money people. They need to turn some of that money free. I don't think they will. But this is Trump's game, and people are going to make a judgment on whether he can lead this country effectively, and the others won't be very relevant.
And part of that is in choosing Paul Manafort to run the campaign. He has operated with great effectiveness since taking over. Some stumbles, 1 or 2 here and there you can argue about. But overall, he's taken command of the organization, built it to not the level that some would like it, but has built it dramatically from what it was. And at this convention, he has basically taken the fight to the never-Trumpers and those who would be an obstacle to Donald Trump's mission.
You know, I think that he's brought a lot of structure to the campaign, and there's a lot of great things that have happened, and you can see that there's more discipline, there's a lot more rigor around the campaign, but he hasn't lost that message, which is so important, that he's lean and efficient. And so he still has a small campaign relative to Hillary Clinton's, and I think one of the things that is so positive about Donald Trump is that he's able to do things lean and differently than have been done before, and that really, if he changed that, then it was going to be a totally different game, and he didn't, and he's still able to be disciplined.
And Michael, in naming Mike Pence his running mate, he has accommodated the party. He has accommodated the factions, that, including the Cruz factions, we might point out, who went up against him today. He has been the compromiser that everyone seemingly within the party leadership wanted. Your judgment about Manafort and where we go from here with his style of management, and the way in which he is driving the campaign.
Well, look, if you try to imagine for a second that, say, Jeb Bush were the nominee, I know it's a little difficult at this point, but if he were, he might have chosen Mike Pence as his vice presidential running mate. So might have John Kasich even. I mean, Pence, I think, was a good, solid choice.
Can you think of an excuse for Kasich not to be here?
I think it's just sour grapes. I mean, I think we sometimes just overlook it's personal. He lost and he's not happy, and Jeb Bush got lost. Of course, the way they lost, Trump humiliated them, and so I think part of it is that they are really sore at him personally. But I think they should be here. If you're ever going to say you speak for the party, you can't abandon the party.
Yeah, do you think they will ever speak for the party again?
No, well, I don't know. It's long. I've seen lots of things happen in this party in my 50 years in it, so I can never say never. I probably would have said never Pence Trump a year ago. I made a lot of money.
I think you did.
If I would have gone to Las Vegas and bet on it. I'm no smarter than anybody else out there. Manafort runs a good convention. He's done that in the past. The critical thing, and I think, is can they put together a campaign moving forward, because the convention is very important. It's going to define Trump as people look at him as a presidential leader. But getting in the trenches and winning this thing in a very close race, I'm telling you, if we're sitting here on November 8th, 9th, and we've lost by 2 or 3 points, then basically we'll know it didn't work.
It didn't work, and it might not have worked as a result of what Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, and the Bushes, and the Kasichs conspired to do. This is really bad form. It's horrible, horrible politics, and it makes a mockery out of their relationship to the party.
I don't know what their end game is. I really don't. You know, to say that you're going to write in somebody else, that you're going to...
Trump says the end game is to elect Hillary Clinton.
I mean, what else can people assume? It's just, if you want to fight for your party, you fight within your party. If you want to go create a third party, go create a third party, but you do not fight within your party. You don't just give up and walk away. That's not what good politicians do. That's not what good leaders do, and it's not the right thing to do.
Well, I would just say they haven't been silent in walking away either. I mean, it's been worse than that. I mean, they've used other networks that are unfavorable to Trump to attack him. I mean, other newspapers, the Washington Post, MSNBC. That's where they've gone.
Full time.
That's where they've gone to air their grievances. So it does speak, I think, not to a deep and abiding decision. We're going to trash him. We're going to hurt him. We're going to help Hillary.
Trump, for his part, Ed, and this has to be the last word. Trump, for his part, has tried to bring unity, a compromise vice presidential nominee to join him on the ticket. He is reaching out. He is trying very hard to unify. Is that effort going to be accelerated in your judgment tonight when Melania, General Flynn, Rudy Giuliani, among others, step up and start taking the message forward to the American people, irrespective of the never-Trumpers and whatever?
The never-Trumpers are really off the radar screen after this. This is really about him and his vision for America. And I think unlike most conventions, which I've been to a lot of them, most of them don't matter a whole lot. They give you a little bit of momentum. This one is going to be a real measurement. Is this going to be Trump's party? And this is going to be his vision of where he takes America. And the American people are going to be watching for that. They're going to move him from being a reality star to a presidential candidate. And that's a very, very heavy burden. And I'm sure he'll be up for it.
Michael Goodwin, Lee Carter, and Ed Rollins.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it very
much.
much. We continue in